The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Steve Murray here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thank you all for joining us here this morning. Appreciate you taking some time out of what obviously is some busy times for everybody based on what we're seeing for business levels in the annuity and single premium and life side of our business. So I know that you've all got a lot of things to do, and I appreciate you breaking out some time to sit and talk with Dave and I for a minute about Social Security claiming, the opportunities for seminars in that area, and the opportunity for growing your business with better understanding of Social Security and Social Security benefits, rules, and claiming opportunities. So we've got a great webinar coming up here today. As always, if you have any questions, I want you to type them in, and we'll get them answered as quickly as possible. If you see a poll pop up, if you hit yes or no, we would appreciate that as well. And we'll keep our webinar here today moving right along a pace and get you in and out with the information that you need to be more successful as quickly as possible. So with that, one thing I wanted to mention to you all again is there will be opportunity at the end for some question and answer time. But if you have any questions during the course of the event, I would like you to type them in, and we'll get them asked and answered as quickly as we can. Okay, a couple things I want to mention to you. You all may have seen these. If not, these are, for those of you who are not aware of them, I know there's a couple people on here today that are not currently appointed with IAMS. So I want to make sure you're aware of a couple of programs that we have to put some money in your pocket. One is a pretty simple one. It's called the Referred Producer Program. When you do business with us, what we do is we put some money in your marketing reimbursement account, and as your individual, or actually it's in your RPM account, they are two separate accounts, and as your individual continues to do business, we continue to put money into that account for you. So if you refer someone and they do a piece of business, of course you're going to get $50 contracting bonus, and then you're going to get a marketing or a RPM benefit as well, and we pay those out quarterly. If they do a $100,000 case, you're going to get a check for $200. If they do, in the course of a quarter, they do $1 million, you're going to get a check for a couple thousand. So money really does add up rather quickly for you. If you have any questions about your referral and how that works, we don't take any money out of their pocket. We put money into your pocket out of our advertising budget. Functionally is where that comes from. So it doesn't harm your referee in any way, that you're getting just a little extra benefit for being kind enough to share the benefits of doing their business with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. So if you have somebody that you want to refer, call up your sales director today, give them their name. We'll do all the footwork on it. We'll send them out information. We'll follow up with them. A lot of times what folks will do is they'll make a call in advance, just to say that, hey, why you should consider IAMS, and you'll be getting a call from them, but you don't even have to do that. We'll do all the footwork if you like, and when they get to doing business with us, we'll start sending you checks. Similarly, on the marketing reimbursement program, whenever you do business with us, we put money into your marketing reimbursement account, and you can use that for anything that you do to grow your business. So whether you're doing seminars or doing mailings, anything that you do that helps increase your business levels, we are willing to reimburse your marketing account for that. So take advantage of that. If you have any questions on what your marketing reimbursement is at, give your sales director a call. They'll be glad to check that for you. Chris Ramel here in our office handles that. He can help you with the numbers as well. So take advantage of those two programs if you're not already. For those of you that are just new to IAMS, maybe contracted with us in the last month or so, for the first 180 days that you're contracted with us, you're eligible for a new producer bonus. And the idea there is for us to help you grow your business and to reward you for getting off to a fast start with us. So you can see some of the opportunities there. We have 100,000, 300,000, and 500,000 levels. You can claim different prizes at different levels, and those those points correspond dollar for dollar with annuity premium. Your target premium business counts about 13 times. Your single premium life business counts about 1.5 times. So you get a little bit more horsepower for some of those types of premiums. That being said, whether you're doing your single premium life, flow target, annuities, med subs, whatever you're doing with us, all that counts towards your new producer bonus. And you can reach and choose at different levels what you want to talk about. And I'm going to draw your attention to a couple of things. At the 300,000 point level, you can get our Social Security program and we'll pay for your first mailing of 3,000. At the $500,000 level, you can get Social Security program. We'll actually do a 5,000 piece mailing for Social Security. They're a little bit cheaper than regular mailing, and we'll also get you coaching with Dave Pimper. So we'll be talking more about that here today. Great opportunity to grow your business and get into the seminar business if you want to. Social Security is a great way to do it. We'd love to help you. So as you all know that have done business with us, service is something that we kind of hang our hat on here. So that whole process from, hey, here's the business, and we take care of the making sure that it goes in the best form and get it back out as quickly as we can, and keeping you informed along the whole way is kind of a strength of ours. And I always say to the team out front, I say, service is hard to sell because everybody says they have great service. But here at IAMS, what we find is that guys, once they get in doing business with us, they definitely recognize the difference, and it saves them time, money, gets their business paid faster. We think that's important, and that's why we tend to keep our guys with us over year, is service is really important. We've got great back office here. I encourage you to test it out. If you have any questions on what we do and how we do it, kind of the gal here that runs that is Amber, and just give Amber a call and she'll be glad to walk you through what we do from a service standpoint. Everything from making sure your business is good and clean when it goes in, following up on your 1035s. If you're doing health or life insurance, we'll follow up on the underwriting procedures. We'll do everything we can on whether it's your life, annuity, med sup, whatever you're doing with us, we're going to do everything we can to get you paid as quickly as possible. Creative Marketing Solutions. So Jacob Tedlock runs that for us. If you have questions on what we can do for you specifically, or if you want to talk to him about your business and how we can help grow that, give Jacob a call. The bottom line is that they can be for you kind of your advertising department. If you're thinking, I don't need an advertising department, I would think about that a second time. You will note a difference in your business when you brand it and advertise it and grow it, grow your reputation in your area. You will definitely notice a difference. And the question you have to ask yourself is, how valuable is another customer a month for me? If you're in the med sup business, that may be an uphill battle. If you're selling life insurance, term insurance, again, that might be an uphill battle. But if you're selling annuities and single premium life, and the value of that customer can be very high, not just for the business that they're doing today, and even some of those other customers, we all know that once we get a customer in the door, the opportunity for us to do business with them and kind of kill them with kindness and service and our expertise, that's kind of the key to success. And advertising, marketing, all those things that sometimes we're not so good at or don't have the time for, can really build that for you. And we've got folks in-house that do that for a number of producers every day. And we've got some nice generic stock-built stuff that you can use right away. We're really good at the business card, logo design type stuff. We can help you get a turnkey website set up very quickly. We can help you with your Facebook advertising so you can get your name and image out there. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to grow your business. I'm not saying that it's all going to happen overnight, but you got to get started with it. That's what the guys and gals that are doing that, those large numbers and make it seem like it's easy. That's kind of the difference there. Is they have some type of status or recognition that helps them, so that when somebody sees their mailing with their picture on it, they recognize it, and that builds credibility. You all know how that can work from the marketing that you get thrown at you, and it works the same way from the marketing as you can throw at the consumer level. So let us help you with that. The key is, we're going to do what we can for nothing. We're going to do everything else that we can at cost, and we're going to let you use marketing reimbursement, because in the end, whatever you do to grow your business is going to help you. And when it's helping you, then it's helping us. And so we're going to do everything we can to make it easy, profitable, efficient, and make it work for you clean and easy. So that's what that marketing service is all about. I hope you take advantage of it. If you haven't been to the website, I'm going to encourage you just to take a few minutes. And what I would do is I'd call my sales director, whether it's Matt or Laura or Scott or Mike or Jim, Marcus, Mark, Sandy, any one of the sales directors out there can take a few minutes, walk you through the website. And you just have to say, hey, these are the things that interest me, whether it's the term quoter, the life underwriting section, whether it's the sales tools available at the Sales Resource Library. If you haven't looked at that, that's worth the visit alone. Go look at that Sales Resource Library. Everything, a lot of the forms are available for you online through the iPipeline tag on. So there's a lot of different things out on the website that you can use besides just the basic information. I would encourage you to call your sales director if you're just with us and you haven't looked at that website. Have them walk you through it and learn everything that you can take advantage of there. It's built for you. It's built to help producers be more efficient. Retirement Analyzer is a nice little, I had a conversation with one of our agents yesterday, and he'd been looking for kind of a tool that he could use in conjunction with his presentation to his client, and the Retirement Analyzer just blew him away. So it's a great way to help your client better understand where they sit in their retirement journey and where their shortcomings are, where they're in good shape, where they need to look at different things. How does their portfolio of assets line up with their risk tolerance? Do they need to be considering some other products that might offer them some long-term care benefits? Or they, is there a shortfall in, their guaranteed income that they need? All these things get revealed with the Retirement Analyzer. We're making that available to our licensed agents right now at no cost. So we'll put it out there for you. We pay the expense on a monthly basis to have a certain number of users, and if that's something that you have interest in, give Marcus a call and just say, hey, Marcus, set me up with a trial use of the Retirement Analyzer. He'll send you out a link. You can go in there, start using it, have him walk you through a case or two and what it can do. I will tell you that it is comprehensive, so you got to put a lot of information in to get out of there what you want, but it's a very good tool for you to use. If you're not using something like that, I would encourage you to do so. If you are, by all means, great. And if you thought you needed to but didn't have access to one, take a look at the Retirement Analyzer. Give Marcus a call and get set up on that. Let us help you with that. IMS Wealth Management. So the IMS Wealth Management has been around now for about 15, 16 months. So relatively new. It was designed and set up really to be an efficient way for producers in the insurance side and producers on the investment side to access the benefits of wealth management with as little cost as you can and as much service as we can make available. So as much as we can, what we tried to do was mimic what we've done on the insurance side in terms of efficiency, high service standards, making your life as easy as we can, keeping you in front of the consumer instead of administrating and processing. So we try to do everything that we can on our end to make it simple, easy, and efficient. And if you have considered becoming an IAR or including investment advice in your business, I would ask you to take a minute and check yes on this poll and spend a minute or two with either Charles or Mike or Joan and see how they can help you to grow that part of your business and how easy that we can make it. If you have a CFP in most states, you don't need to test to become investment advisor rep. There are other designations that you may have that would eliminate your need to take a test, but for most people that don't have an IAR, they would need to take the Series 65 test to qualify, and we can help you with that process. So if you are in a part of your business where you see the opportunities, or maybe you've given away some opportunities to handle investment accounts because you weren't licensed and you don't want to do that anymore, let us help you with that. If you're already an IAR and maybe not been able to convert your license to being able to adequately and efficiently present business to your client, if you haven't gotten comfortable with the process of offering investment advice, and we can help you with that, check yes on that, and we'll be glad to follow up with you on that as well. If you are already an investment advisor rep, successful, everything's going well, and you just are looking for a more cost-efficient platform and better payouts, I would encourage you to check yes on that poll and spend a couple minutes with Charles. You may say, after talking with him, hey, based on what I'm seeing, my current situation is already better. That's a quick 10-minute call that could make a big difference in your business. So I would encourage you to check yes on that poll. If you have never considered that and don't want to have that as part of your business, certainly understand that as well. Check no on that poll, and we won't bother you. Right now, it looks like you all are very good in the voting realm, so I appreciate you taking a few minutes to vote. I'm going to leave that open for about another 30 seconds and let you all vote. And I see we do have a couple of questions. So the monthly fees, which include E&O, database access, a website, and of course all the normal things that you would expect to get in terms of oversight and administration of your investment advice business. That fee is right now running somewhere in the range of about $210, $212 a month. Again, that includes your E&O, that includes website, that includes database system as well. All the things that you need to be successful in that business includes proposal software, and it also includes all the services that we provide. The payouts, you're looking, most guys are charging about a 2% total fee, and that's all in. So there are no other fees that your client will get, no other trading fees and things like that. The fee that you charge is all in, and normally that's going to end up being about 1.9 to 2%, depending on what fee you want to charge. So if you have any questions, want more information, give that team a call and let them help you. Thank you for voting on that. There are a couple of you that it looks to me like maybe you're just listening. And so if you want to call in and chat with myself, again, my name is Steve Murray. I can be reached at 800-255-5055. Or if you want to, you can ask for Charles Jr., you can ask for Mike Hansen, you can ask for Joan. Any one of us can walk you through the ins and outs of the process, the business, what we can do to help you. So by all means, if you haven't been able to vote, don't let that stop you from exploring the opportunity. Just give us a call here at the office. So with that, I'm going to close that poll. We're going to keep moving along here. We've got an academy coming up in late October that will be in Des Moines. I know that that's a question we almost always get. So the upcoming one will be in conjunction with one of our carriers, North American. We generally go for 3 days total. So we bring you on a Wednesday, have you out on Friday. Pretty full agenda. You can see on the screen there some of the things that we cover. We cover a whole lot more than that. The cornerstone of the event, as I always tell folks, is we bring in top producers that walk you through what they do, how they do it to be successful. And that really is a cornerstone. That probably is about 4 or 5 hours of the total class time that we have. We'll talk about Social Security. We'll talk about some various seminars. We'll talk about some tools that you can use. We'll talk about branding. We'll talk about products. We'll spend some time talking about products. So we kind of try and cover everything. Usually what I hear from folks as they're leaving is that, boy, it's about as much information as I could ever want to take in really about a 2.5 days. You're going to be out of your office from Wednesday and be getting back in your office on a Friday. So you're going to be functionally out of your office for 3 days. But there's about as much information as you could ever possibly want to have crammed into those 3 days for you. We're going to take care of your expenses. We're going to take care of your hotel. We're going to take care of travel, meals while you're there. And you're going to get some great information. The requirement is that you do have to be appointed with us in order to qualify to come into one of these events. You can see why that would be. We have a lot of expense and opportunity wrapped up in this event. So I did not do yet, and I should have. I'm going to launch a poll on that. So here's what will happen. If you say that I am interested in hearing more about our Life and Annuity Academy, you're going to get two things after the webinar today. You're going to get a kind of an itinerary that you can review. And those itineraries, I mean, we make some changes in them. It'll be the itinerary probably for the last one, but we make some minor adjustments in all of them for each academy. But a lot of the information that's covered is similar. And so that'll be a pretty good idea for what's going to happen hour by hour at the event. And that will impress you, I guarantee you. And then there will be another form that will be a registration form. And on that registration form, if you, after looking at the itinerary and kind of seeing what we do, if you have interest, then you send in that registration form. And what we do with that is that we put you in the system. And then for the academies, whether it's this one coming up in October or one that we're going to do later this year or early on next year or even throughout next year, we'll call you up and invite you in. And if the dates and times work for you, that's great. If they don't, we'll keep you on the list and we'll invite you into the next one. So great opportunity for you to increase your business. And I would say that is for people that are looking for something new and different to grow their business. Maybe you want to increase your product knowledge a little bit, but mostly it's for folks that are looking at ways to, hey, here's some ideas that I can use to grow my business, whether it's seminars or whether it's doing some mailings or other ways that you can go about, increasing what you're doing, branding, marketing, things like that. That's what really is the bulk of what we talk about. We're going to go over some product, but we're going to mostly talk about ways to grow your business. It's also a great opportunity to interact with folks like you, that are successful and just looking to increase their success. So if that's of interest, I'm going to ask you to put yes on that poll. And it looks again, it looks like I did get that launched out correctly. Looks again like we have just a few of you unable to vote, probably the same few. Again, what I would say for you folks, so I do have a question that's come about. So here's the gist of the event. We'll bring you in on Wednesday. You'd probably need to leave your neck of the woods, depending on where you're coming from, anywhere probably sometime Wednesday afternoon. We'd get you in to Des Moines, pick you up at the airport. Usually we start that evening about 5. We'll go for about half an hour or about 2.5 hours right at the hotel. We'll start with a half-hour cocktail reception. We'll have dinner as well that evening. Get up the next morning, have breakfast, pretty much go all day. Usually we do that in conjunction with the home office. That certainly would be the case here in October. So we'll take you over to North American's home office. We use their facility. We'll use some of their presenters. We'll also have some of our top producers come in and talk. And adjourn that evening about 5, go out and have a nice dinner. Again, start the next morning with breakfast, go for that morning, and then about 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1, we wrap up, get you back to the airport, and get you back to your place. So that's the general kind of outlined. Hopefully that answers your question. If not, certainly get back with me, and I'll be glad to answer any other questions or re-ask that question from me. Most of you have voted, which is great. A lot of interest. That doesn't surprise me. Really, over the past 10, 12, 15 years that we've been doing those academies, they've really grown into, I think, one of the most sought-after events in our industry for good reasons. So I'm not surprised by the interest. If for some reason you didn't get to put yes or you didn't get to vote on that poll and you want information, there's a number for you. Just call 800-255-5055 and ask to talk with one of our sales directors. We'll be glad to get you out the information that you need. Thank you all for taking a minute and voting. For those of you that weren't able to vote, give me a call on that number. I'm going to close that poll out. Get moved right along. So we've got about a year left of qualification on our IAMS 2019 Marketing Summit. We're going to go to Naples, Florida, which is down in the Gulf side of Florida, pretty far south. So it's going to be hot. It's going to be beachy weather. We're going to golf. We're going to have fun. We're going to spend some time on the beach. There's beautiful shopping around there. It's been referred to as like the Fifth Avenue of the South around Naples. They've got some great shops and great things to see. A lot of stuff to do there. So we'd love to have you join us. We'll do a couple meetings as well. It'll be our expense. We'll take care of everything. We'll take care of your travel. We'll take care of your spouse's travel as well. It'll be a great opportunity to get in the social atmosphere with a lot of folks that are successful just like you. We'd love to have you join us on that. If you do not know where you stand on qualification or if you have questions on that event itself, again, give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. You can ask for myself, ask for your sales director. About anybody can give you where your point standings are. We try and keep you informed. If you want to know more about how you accumulate opportunity to join us at that, simply give us a call. We'd love to help you. So now we are just about ready to talk with the coach. Dave, are you on with us this morning?
I am. How are you doing, Steve?
Great. Thank you for joining us. Good. I know you've been busy with a lot of things. I appreciate you joining us here as well. We've got a great group here this morning. As you can see, a lot of folks interested in Social Security, claiming and opportunities around seminar marketing. For those of you that are not familiar with Dave, Dave has coached with us now for about 12 or 13 years. I talked about the Academy earlier. Dave is one of our top producer presenters there for Social Security claiming, and he has another seminar, 401k seminar that he makes available. Today he's going to talk about Social Security claiming. Dave will be probably too humble to talk more about himself, so I'm going to give you some of his background. He's done probably now in excess of 500 seminars very active and regular top producer with us since we met him some years back, has joined us for each of our top producers escapes, and has generated most of his business, if I'm not mistaken, over the years via some type of a seminar approach. And I would say, based on recent activity, that Social Security claiming seminars have been just about as good as any that he has done. So Dave is an active producer. He's involved. He helps our guys from A to Z in the seminar business, whether it's Social Security claiming a 401k. So we're very fortunate to have someone of Dave's caliber, someone with Dave's dedication, and someone that cares about the success of our producers like Dave Pimper. So great to have him and the Lazarus Coaching team aboard. With that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Dave, and I'm going to hand you the keyboard as well.
Good. Wonderful. And I appreciate everybody being on the webinar with us today. We're going to talk for about 30 minutes, and we're going to talk about Social Security claiming and how maybe, it's not for everybody, but maybe seminar marketing could certainly bring more prospects in the door for you through marketing Social Security claiming seminars. If you don't know Social Security claiming, don't feel bad. Most of the people in our profession don't. If you're not in our profession, you're just the John Q. public, then there's only about 5% of the people really understand Social Security claiming. The great thing about Social Security is when you're showing annuities, or you're showing, if you're licensed to securities, showing a stock, or you're showing a bond, there's just a small percentage of people that actually have ownership in that kind of investment. But you know who has ownership in Social Security claiming? Again, from the public in the U.S., 94% of people 62 and over participate in Social Security. Wow, that's a lot. So what happens is, it is for over 60% of the people that take Social Security, it's more than half of their income in retirement, and rounding off, about a third of the people, it's their sole income. Now, those aren't normally the people that we're going to work with. We're looking at folks that have assets, whether it be with safety assets with the bank or whether it be with investment assets. But Social Security complements those assets. And that's where the Social Security workshops are they're just very, very timely. Now, what I'm going to do, and I want to see if I can go in. Steve says I can. I'm able to do this. Wonderful. Yesterday, one of our agents for IAMS, a long time, a very good producer down in Florida. You always take a little more risk if you have a summer seminar. Sometimes I do seminars, and sometimes I don't. He just got done doing a Social Security tonight. Is his first one, and Thursday is his second one off of the same mailing. And he's got somewhere between 40 and 45 people that are planning to attend. And that's about the average, okay? So we're coming up into some of the very best months of seminars, September, October, early November. Gets a little tougher in December because of Thanksgiving and Christmas. But what happens is people, they don't know this information. They need someone to tell them. And I'll tell you something, when they go down to the Social Security office, they do their very best, but they don't always hear the same thing over and over on the same question, which is pretty disheartening. So we're kind of the riding a little bit of the white hat on the horse. We can help those people with their Social Security questions. Now, as we go through this, if there's any questions, type them on in. I'm going to go through faster because I don't want to take a lot of your time this morning, but it talks about what baby boomers need to know to maximize their Social Security income. Okay? So here's what happens is our demographics that we mail to are the age of 58 to 67. Not until your late 50s do you really start, you get up one day and you just say, gosh, I wonder how much I can really get from Social Security. All of a sudden, you're much closer to retirement than you were from starting years ago. But people come to a workshop like this, and I say workshop and seminar as a synonym interchangeably. But they want to know what's the date I should apply for benefits? What age? If I'm married, can I coordinate it with my spouse? They want to know if they take early, how much is it reduced? If they take late, how much will it gain? So it's talking about an actuarial reduction if it's reduced, a delayed retirement credit if they wait longer than full retirement age. How much does the survivor benefit? How does that work? Okay, if the spouse dies. If I'm divorced, can I claim off my ex? Will the new Social Security laws affect me? And there was a change in 2015 from the Bipartisan Budget Act. Okay? So a lot of people want to know, will it be there for me? And I'm going to tell you right now, it is. It is. No matter how much scare tactics you see in the paper, and there's scare tactics almost in any media source, Social Security is extremely sound. And I'll tell you why I say that, okay? Any questions, certainly just go in. You're starting to see more and more types of articles like this. Popular Social Security Strategy Next. This came from Kiplinger Report. Yeah, you never saw much like this, say, 10 years ago, okay? So why seminars around Social Security? First, it's timely, very timely. I mean, there was just, came out by, I think it was either Lincoln, I think it was Lincoln Financial came on out and had, it was either that or Transamerica, one of the two, but they came on out with 5 questions. And I'm telling you what, they were simple questions, and they said if you missed more than 2 of those questions, you just didn't have a very good grasp. It was like 80% of the people missed more than 2. And they were all pretty simple questions, but it's timely for people. You don't grow up learning Social Security. You might grow up learning reading, writing, arithmetic, a little history, poli-sci in there, but not what, nothing about Social Security. And if you work, or you work for yourself and you're making income, profit, you're putting into Social Security. You legally are bound to put into Social Security. We target from 58 to 67, so I work with pre-retired and retired. I mean, there's no doubt you could work with younger folks, but if you get much younger, they're still paying for all the college costs. They're paying, for debt off of their home and credit cards. This is really where the chance of larger assets are. There's no meals. This agent I was talking to yesterday said, you know what, Dave, I love that I'm not paying for any meals. It saves me $800-900, $25 a meal. I think that the Social Security attendees are a little more affluent. Yeah, because most of the people aren't going to come if they've already taken. Those are certainly more educational in nature because we have them at libraries and colleges, not at a restaurant. I always say the prospects need us more than we need them, whether that's true or not, but they'll hunt you down to get that free analysis. There's a pretty high conversion rate for appointments. And that transition, we really go through in depth of how to transition from Social Security to income planning, or Social Security of how the other assets, we uncover those other assets. It's not a bait and switch. You really need to know the whole financial investment income stream kind of arena to be able to really give good insight for when your prospect or client should take that Social Security benefit. So will it be there for me? So if I asked you this, last year, was there more income coming in from Social Security through payroll taxes and the interest from the bonds in the portfolio, or was it a deficit? More expenses were going out, i.e. paying for the Social Security benefit. Well, if you guessed more going out, that's what the majority of the people would say. But you know what? It's not true. More came in. $35 more billion came in. This year, it's going to be about, they project, the trustees and the Social Security Administrational trustees, they think that it'll be around 1.7 billion will run as a deficit. That's on a nearly $1 trillion from a Social Security fund, okay, almost $1 trillion, so extremely low amount. It's the first time we ran a deficit since 1982, believe it or not. You're talking about acronyms here. FRA stands for full retirement age. So if you're born between 1943 and 1954, your full retirement age is 66. 66. If you're born 1960 or later, it's 67. So almost everyone coming to a workshop like this, unless they're really old, which we don't mail out to that demographic, but it's going to be somewhere between 66 and 67 is your full retirement age. At FRA, full retirement age, there are some things you can normally do that you can't do at other times, and we'll talk about those here in a sec. So, if you took Social Security 101, it would say this, that you can take your own benefit starting as early as the age of 62. If you take early, it's going to be reduced. You can wait until full retirement age, you get your full retirement benefit, or you can actually delay to 70, and then it's increased through delayed retirement credits. So wherever your full retirement age is, say I'm 55, so that's 1 year after 54, you add 2 months to it. So it's 66 years and 2 months. That's my full retirement age. If I take earlier than that, it's going to be reduced. I get my money now, but it's reduced. If I wait later than 66, I could all the way up to 70. It's going to increase, but I get my retirement benefit later. And there certainly is a break-even point, but it's not just break-even for you. If you're married, it's break-even for your spouse also. Okay? If you take early, it's called an actuarial reduction. If you wait later than full retirement age, it's called a delayed retirement credit. If you take early at the age of 62, it's deducted by 25%. So if you have a $1,000 benefit at 66 and you take it 62, your 1,000 drops 25% to $750. If your benefit's $1,000 at full retirement age and you wait till age 70, it grows 8% of a year simple. You're guaranteed 32%. And that does not include COLA. Last year was 2.1%, and it looks like it's going to be over 3% this year. Actually, it's 2% last year. It looks like it could be 3 or 3.1% this year. It's going to be the highest COLA in 10 years. Cost of living allowance, or basically retail inflation. Very important. That started actually in 1975. There's only been 3 years, all in Obama's years, where there has not been any type of inflation. Other than that, there's always been a COLA on Social Security. If you wait past 66, it's 8% a year, guaranteed. You had 3% on for 4 years, that's 12. Now, all of a sudden, you're at 44%. Then you add compounding with the COLAs, it might be 45 or 6%. The benefit doesn't compound, but the COLAs do. Now, we're going to talk in simple terms about spousal benefits. There's certainly some innuendos, and it can get more complicated than this. But let's say John's PIA. PIA stands for Primary Insurance Amount. Primary Insurance Amount is the amount you get at FRA, full retirement age. So it's PIA, Primary Insurance Amount, at FRA, full retirement age. John's is $2,000, Jane's is $800. Let's just say that they're both full retirement, okay? So let's say that both of those start taking their benefit. So John takes $2,000, that's great. Jane has the option, because her benefit is lower than her spouse, the lower spouse has an option of taking all of their benefit, which would be $800 for Jane, or they can take half of John's, which is $1,000, whichever is more. What does Jane do? It is done automatically. They don't have to ask for it. Yeah, she's going to get $1,000. She gets a top-up of $1,000. Now, here's some of the innuendos and some of the kind of the detours that happen. What happened if Jane never worked outside the home? She was always a full-time mom. She has 7 kids, always a full-time mom, and does volunteering work. She doesn't have the 40 quarterly credits that you need. You need 40 credits. You need 40 credits to have a Social Security benefit. That's basically 10 years of work. And you have to, this year, that's also with the cost of inflation, it goes up. So way back when, you have to make as much now, but $1,320 a quarter. That's what you've got to make. So that $1,320, if you look at that yearly, that's $5,280. So if you make about $5,280 in a given year, you've just earned yourself 4 credits. So I mean, if you look and you don't have 40 credits yet, you're getting up towards your 60s, and you're only 1 or 2 years away. Wouldn't it be worthwhile to go in and to participate and to have a part-time job to make that, $53, $54, $500? Well, if you want a lifetime income of $450 or $500 like a pension per month, you darn right you will. And that's the information we give. Now, if John does not take his benefit, say at 66, because he's still working, he's going to let it grow to 70, but Jane wants to take hers, because John didn't start his, Jane can't take half of his. Can only take a spousal benefit if he has activated his account. So she'd only get $800. Now, what about John's benefit? Say from 66 to 70, it grows with COLA. 2,000 grows to $3,000, which is pretty close to what it would probably grow to. Now he starts his benefit at 70. What does Jane get? Doesn't get half of his 2,500. Jane goes in and gets a top up from what it was at full retirement age. So if Jane was going to get $200 before he let it start to delay at 66, she would now get that $200. It's delayed, but $200 once he turns his on at 70. So there is a top up of $200, give or take, at 70. So there's a lot of moving parts. Even like with spousal benefits, it isn't just as easy as do this, do this, do this. There's lots of options. And believe me, if your head's spinning just a touch right now, join the crowd. Think with the average prospect or your client when they start hearing stuff like that. That's why if you've got a knowledge of Social Security, I'm telling you what, it's such a benefit. Any questions? Type them on in. Now, divorce spouse benefit, here's the triple play. Your marriage lasted at least 10 years or longer. You're currently unmarried, and your ex is at least 62 years of age. If those three things line up, then you can take your ex just like you were still married to them. Your ex can take you just like you were still married to them. They don't even know. It doesn't affect their benefit in any way. You can double dip on each other. It's the most lenient benefit. A divorced spouse benefit is one of the most lenient benefits there are. Okay? Next slide. Survivor benefits, meaning one of the beneficiaries has passed away. So let's just say there's Joe and Julie. They're married. They're full retirement age, and we'll just always hypothetically say that's 66. Joe's benefit is $2,000. Julie's benefit is $1,200. Joe dies. Joe dies. Julie can say, great, I'll just keep on taking my $1,200, or she can jump up to Joe's benefit of $2,000. She lets hers go, lets her $1,200 go, jumps up to Joe's. So the family benefit was $2,000 and $1,200, $3,200. Now the family benefit, if she jumps up, is only $2,000. Still a loss of family benefit, but of course one of the people had passed away. The big thing here is that Julie has to elect. She has to go to Social Security, either do it online or go in person, and say, hey, I'm going to jump my benefit up. If she doesn't do that, they never will pay her out the higher amount. It's not done automatically like a spousal benefit. Survivor benefit you have to ask for. Huh. Pretty wild, yeah. Okay. Now, spousal benefits. For the very first one, we're going to talk about the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015. There was two things that got affected mainly on this: file and suspend and restricted application. I have people come to me that used to do workshops. I was thinking about doing workshops. They said, hey, when file and suspend went away, which got phased out after 6 months, that took all the sizzle out of the workshops. Tell you what, I see no difference from 215 and before or after 215 as far as the amount of people that come to the workshop, because you would think the average person would understand how a spousal benefit works, but they don't. You would think the average person would understand that the only thing they probably know is if you take it early, it's reduced. If you let it grow, it's increased. It's a delay. But they don't know about all the innuendos and all of the quirks, or just the basics of Social Security. Now, file and suspend and restricted do kind of similar things. One, you're a giver of the benefit, and one, you're a taker. One, you're a giver of the spousal benefit. One, you're a taker. You're a giver on the file and suspend. You're a taker. You take the spousal benefit from your spouse on a restricted. Believe me, I've done truly hundreds of reports, and restricted application 80 to 85% of the time has a higher benefit than file and suspend, even though file and suspend is really more accurately of what you do, but restricted is a suspension also. So let's go in and talk a little bit. First thing is, if you look at file and suspend, gone. Cannot do any longer. Restricted is still available for anyone who was born on January 1 of 1954 and earlier. Listen to this. The fella that is down in Florida going to have the workshop tonight, his brother-in-law, he's told him to restrict his application and use a spousal benefit for spouses. And you know, he was born on January 1 of 1954, last possible day. Yeah, I was going to do restricted application with my wife, Amy. I was going to make about 20 grand off of it. I lost out because I was born in 55. I was born April of 55, not in January 1 or earlier of 54. So here's how it works, restricted application. If you were born on January 1 of 54 or earlier, then you can do this. The X doesn't need to be. They just need to be at least 62. There's Mike and Mary. For this hypothetical, they're both 66 years of age. So they're both full retirement age. Mike's PIA, what's it stand for? Primary insurance amount. That's your PIA at FRA. Full retirement age is 2,000. Mary's PIA is 800. Mary files for a benefit. They want income coming into the family. What does Mike do? Well, he has enough, maybe he has enough investments, savings, income that he doesn't have to have a Social Security right now. And he thinks he's going to live a pretty long time into at least his 80s, that is past that break even of 78, 79, 80. So what happens, he's going to delay his and earn that 8% credit, plus COLAs, of course, on everything. So what he does is he restricts his application. He restricts it. Mary started her 800. He can take half of her benefit, which is 400, and let his grow, 8%. Called restricted application. Beautiful. $400 per month, $4,800 per year, times 4 years, over $19,000, and it's free money. It's a loophole. It was a loophole. They've closed it up, but how cool is that? And then when Mike turns on, he'll lose the 400, but now Mary gets the extra $200 on the top up to the $1,000 that it was at primary insurance amount of full retirement age for Mike. How cool is that? Plus, has a lot of, I'm not saying you're going to get every single bit of that unless you're kind of versed on how restricted application works, but that's pretty darn cool. So when you're showing this to people, in the attendance are going, wow, this gal knows a lot. Wait, sure. So what can Social Security administrational folks do? Well, what they can't do, they can't go in and project future benefits through scenario planning like file and suspend. That's gone now. But restricted application was still available if your age is old enough. They cannot offer advice. Isn't that wild? We can, but they don't want that liability. They can't. So what happens, they can estimate your best individual benefit now. They can estimate what you're entitled to now. They can't give advice, and that leaves the door wide open for us. Right here on D, it says provide, this is right from the taking the claim of the Social Security Administration office. Provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, and I just love this. But do not give advice. That keeps us in business with Social Security. Can we give advice? You're darn right. Can you imagine being a financial planner, or let's say you're an insurance agent? Hey, can you give me some insight, some advice on insurance? No, give you a lot of advice, but not on insurance, even though I'm an insurance agent. It's bizarre. That's the way it works. It opens the door for us to do it. Now, in the slide, those are horse's mouth slides. You buy those slides with about 300 pages of reading, plus it has all of your analysis, a 7-page, depending on about 7 to 11-page report, color, that you can individually give to each one of your clients. But when you start walking through the pillars of income, how work and pensions and RMDs and income producing assets, and how Social Security complements those, then that really sets up for them to mark yes on the consultation form. And we have dates and we have times. We get them committed in. We give them a letter. We call them back. We make sure that they know that this appointment is set up, whether it be in their home or whether it be at your office. But this 5 pillars of income really starts uncovering the assets. As you can see, is there something there that I can possibly work with? Horse's Mouth costs about $520. It's purchased at a discount through the FMO of IAMS, which Steve Murray, co-owner of IAMS, was just talking about. But it has the analysis, has the calculators, 300 pages of reading, which is very good. And I've changed some of the PowerPoint, but just to make it a little more user-friendly, but they have the PowerPoint presentation, a lot of information for $500 when you purchase that. Now, this is kind of old 400. I've actually given 478 public workshops. Steve said 500, not quite, but that's a lot. That's between 15 and 20 a year since the mid-'80s. I try to make a complicated subject and make it easier to understand. We got a proven seminar invitation. It's pretty cool. Looks just like it's coming from a community college. Kind of, it's 11 inches wide, 17 inches long, cardstock, three-way folded down into a thick flyer. We're called, your instructor. The class time is. It's very educational, and we don't mention one product in that. It's a turnkey system. No meals are served. We talk. It's a pretty good transitional language that we have when we coach with you. There's ongoing support. So what happens with me, I coach 5 sessions on Social Security. That's how I get paid. I don't get paid from overrides from you. I get paid from coaching you. I get paid $150 per coaching session. That's $750 over 5 sessions. And IAMS comes up and picks about 2/3 of that up. So really, you're only paying $195 for coaching. Yeah. The bigger cost in any kind of seminar system is getting people there. And we still do a hard invite. Sometimes we'll do some social media, but that hard invite, that's what my fellow did down in Florida, getting between 40 and 45 people there. Yeah. And there is a cost to that. It's about $3,300. So this isn't for someone who doesn't have much money. You have to have a little bit of money to be able to market. But I end on this. Procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes. If you saw something today that you thought, and Steve, I'll have you put that poll up if you can. If you saw something today that you think is important, you'd like to know more about seminar marketing, mark yes on this. And what we'll do, I'll give you a call back, and it isn't one of my assistants. It'll be me, and we'll talk for 20, 25, 30 minutes, a little bit about what you're doing, how you're marketing your practice. Some people market strictly from referrals. Some people market strictly from networking. Some strictly from seminars. Some by mail cards. But what happens is, if you look at all the big FMOs, and IAMS is one of the big FMOs, you take their top 10 or 15 people, you'll always see some of those people, maybe a quarter of them, or maybe even a third of them, probably make a fair amount of their revenue through seminar marketing, because it gets you in front of a prospect. So, Steve, I'll kind of let you take it from here and see if there's any questions there.
Well, and there are. So I've got a gentleman that has done Social Security claiming seminars, good attendance, but he had a hard time converting. I'm trying to think. We had a gentleman in a similar situation.
Yep.
So what do you think that when your coaching brings to the table that can solve that issue? Because I know we've helped a couple guys with that exact problem that had done some Social Security claiming seminars and not had a lot of luck with them. Can you give us just a quick on that?
Yeah, I tell you what happens is that you have to certainly have a strong call to action, and what happens is you got to go in and make sure that those people feel comfortable with signing up. So one of the ones, and Steve, it was either I know because it was a huge increase from what he was doing, was Oklahoma or Texas. And I think it was Oklahoma. And so what happened is he was talking about annuities in his presentation. I'm just telling you, as far as I'm concerned, that's a huge mistake. All of a sudden now you're labeled as an insurance salesman or high-pressured insurance salesman. You should just be selling Social Security. Give them everything they need. You know what? If a person has no interest in doing business, great. Go to the next one. One of my very favorite four-letter words is next. You're scared there, weren't you, Steve? Next. N-E-X-T. Next prospect. Next prospect. Because you know what happens is, we're not going to go and close everybody. We're not going to work with everybody. We don't need to. We just need to go in and help everyone with their Social Security, give them the best information. And you know what? You absolutely, it's the law of numbers. You see enough people. If you have 10 appointments or more, which we've been averaging more than that on our Social Security workshops, you're going to, most likely, you will uncover business. And so what happens is we have a track, and the track is good. And what happens is you have to first get people, once you're in front of people, and that's what all of those had. They weren't getting the appointments. They were getting people there. Remember, there's 3 steps. Getting people there, then getting the appointment, then writing business. Once you do those 3 things, then it's pretty easy. And we've got a system. Is it perfect? Of course not. You know what? But it's pretty darn good. And one of the things that most seminar systems don't have, and I'm not pounding my chest, I'm just saying most of them don't have coaches. Most of them don't have a person like Dave Pimper who walks you through slide by slide, tells you what to say, how to say it, has a video of him performing the actual workshop itself, can call me at any time, can use Lynn or Amy in my office or Becky on our mail house, that we have a designated person that works with all of our people. We have a lot of manpower. We have a lot of support. That is probably the difference than some of the other FMO systems. They have a good seminar, but there's so much more to giving a seminar than just having good slides.
You bet. And Jerry, that was a good question, because there's no doubt that if there's been one issue that when I've talked to folks that have done some Social Security claiming stuff, that has been kind of the ongoing. And, even Dave, I know when you first started doing these seminars like 3 years ago, you were surprised a little bit by that too, that it was a different kind of a closing process. And to work with someone that has addressed that specifically in his own business and kind of come up with a solutional process, that's pretty valuable. And I know that helped a couple of our guys that were kind of discouraged on what they'd been seeing from their Social Security seminars in terms of business. So
yeah, it was a little different.
Yep.
Steve, you were right on half of that. First of all, it's been 7 years I've done the seminars, but the other half you were right on. Remember, I would call you and say, this is different.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're not talking about any kind of product,
right.
No product. So that transitioning, and I kind of did it on my own, but we actually got kind of our heads together. How about this? How about this? How about this? And then all of a sudden, I found out what was working, and now that transitional language, I've never written it all out. You get, the whole kind of language on it. But yeah, I mean, I think what we teach right now is very pertinent, right to the point, and it has a proven, again, I always say it's not perfect, but it has a proven track that it works from, and it's been pretty darn good.
Yep. And it goes back a little bit to, kind of leads into what I like to mention about coaching, because we've been offering seminars for probably 22, 23 years now here at IAMS, different types of seminars. And in our first 5 or 7 years, our success levels were satisfactory but low. And I guess in the end, I was I felt bad for some of the guys that we were doing business with, because it's an expensive thing to get into. Seminars are one of the more expensive approaches that you can have to marketing, at least on the surface it would seem so. If you're not talking about ROI, if you're just going to say what costs the most, seminars can be an expensive part of that. Return on investment, I think they're probably one of the best. But I do believe that the key for us and our producers over the last 12 to 13 years in terms of seminar success has been to have that coaching. So we offer 2 or 3 seminars. Dave is not the only one that we work with, but Dave does a couple of them for us. There's no seminar opportunity that we offer anymore that doesn't have coaching that goes with it, because the devil is in the details on seminars. And if you lose 2 prospects because your invitation is not good, you lose 3 prospects because you're not doing it on the right nights. You use 2 other prospects because your seminar isn't good, and then you lose 4 people that you would have gotten a point. Pretty soon, that's the difference not only between success and great success, but great success and failure. And so that's what our coaches do.
You know what?
Yes,
I'm laughing about this, but you didn't say or having it at the wrong time of day.
Because we did have that.
We did have that.
We did have that.
Yeah, this guy's a very good producer. He did it on his own, and he did a Social Security workshop for lunch, and everybody's working.
Yeah.
He couldn't imagine why and you just said, well, gosh, Jim, this is just the wrong time of day.
Yeah, you can't do that
because
we're not working with retirees.
And he's a smart dude.
Yeah.
So it's just that it just hadn't he done it. That's so I always tell people as a coach, I can't steer you right where to go, but I can hopefully keep you out of the ditches. You may still get on the rumble strip on the road, but the ditches is where you crash and burn. That's where we want to keep our agents and our clients, my coaching clients, keep them away from the bad stuff. Yeah. Absolutely.
And Dave has been, over the years, he has been excellent. I would say, I don't know that there's a better one in the industry right now that, from a coaching and producing perspective, helps folks ongoing before and after, years after, they've gotten done the seminar business. So we really appreciate that. It's a very valuable tool. We pay most of the cost, as Dave mentioned. You kind of threw that a little bit earlier, but we pay most of the cost. The only reason we don't pay all of it, frankly, and I don't want this to sound bad, but the only reason we don't pay all of it is because you got to have some skin in the game yourself to understand the value of it. And if we give it away for free, everybody do it. And so there has to be some little bit of financial, because we know that it works. And the more folks that are willing to get in there and try it and work with it and be consistent, because like any marketing that you do, seminars, whether they're on Social Security, 401k, insurance products in general, any seminar that you do has a momentum piece, and I think a lot of guys miss that. So you don't want to do one and then be done with it. The first one is never going to be your best one. It's going to be your worst one likely, and you just need to get better and better and better at your presentation, which you do naturally. Then you get momentum, you get clients coming back that had went to your seminar 3 months ago, and pretty soon, you're a year into it, and you've got that steady flow of prospects that you've always wanted. And I'm going to tell you right now that Social Security seminars, everybody that has done them has communicated back to me that it's the easiest entree. It's kind of the entry-level seminar system, because you really are just kind of teaching and you're passing on information, and there's not a lot of showmanship involved by design. And so you're sitting with clients and talking about business and talking about Social Security, and it's just the right people, just the right time, and it's a very easy seminar to do. So if you've thought about, hey, I want to do seminars, but I'm not sure if I can do it, Social Security seminars you can do. I would guarantee you that. You've got the script, you've got everything that you need. You're standing behind a dais, you're walking them through some very important things to them in a very professorial way. It's a great way to get in the seminar business. So to have the right coach and have the right seminar, we think those are key, and that's why the Social Security seminars have been so successful for us, really. And guys have gone on to do other seminars from that and been very successful. So if you're thinking about seminars, this is a great one to do. If you said, hey, this is not something for me, seminars, I don't want the expense. I just came today to learn more about Social Security. Hopefully you've gotten that out of it. If you're not sure, hit yes on that. Spend a minute with Dave. I want to tell you right now that if you get to talking with Dave and Dave, there's something about it that doesn't seem to fit, he's going to let you know that. It could be your area. It could be your personality type. It could be your, how much what your financial situation is. There's a lot of reasons that it might not be a fit for you today. The great thing is Dave's going to tell you that there's no benefit in Dave giving you a false idea of whether seminars are going to work for you. He wants you to be successful just like we do. So hit yes on that poll if you want more information. Many of you have. Thank you for that. If there's any questions that should arise, and Dave, there are some other questions here, which I'm going to refer to you on more of a one-on-one. They're kind of typical Social Security questions. Yeah. And so Dave can give you a call afterwards. We've gone just a little bit over time today. Been a great event. Thank you all for joining us. Great group of folks with us here today. And I don't know if I expressed this at the outset of our webinar today, but the fact that you take some time away from your business to learn a little bit more and to be more of a benefit to your clients and to help grow your business for you and your family means a lot to us here at IAM. So whatever we can do to help you, we're going to do that. We want to work with people that are looking in seeking ways to be more successful, and we're glad to help with that. Dave, is there anything that you want to say as we close up here today?
No, I tell you what, I'm very respectful of anyone in our business, anyone that's in commission sales, insurance sales, security sales, brokers, advisors. I'm very, very, I know how important time is. But you know what? You don't get hardly anything accomplished unless you take action. So hopefully you'll take action. Hopefully we'll talk with some of those folks here in the near future, and hopefully have a real productive rest of your week.
Thank you, Dave. Again, if you do have questions you want to chat, give us a call here at the office. That number again is 800-255-5055. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We look forward to helping you grow your business. Thank you, Dave, too, for taking time out. Everybody have a great finish to your week.
Okay, bye, everybody.